Hello and welcome to the Congo Hour. We want to thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have a pretty exciting hour planned for you. We have my favorite part of the show. We have Student of the Week. We're going to start off with her. She is here with her mom, and I'm sure her family, I'm sure they're home watching. Then we have your favorite part of the Congo Hour. We have Sammy's Corner, and he has two guests, right?
Yes.
Okay, who are his guests?
His guests are County Executive Thomas P. Gordon and Councilman J. Street.
Right, County Councilman J. Street. And then we have some birthday announcements. We have some community news, and we'll have our funeral announcements towards the end of the show.
Oh, Trippy,
Yes.
last week you weren't here. And we have special guests that watch us faithfully
Okay.
every week, it seems to be, and that is the people that are at the DAP.
All right,
And
thank
it's
you.
Jill McDonald and his wife Joanne, who are Joanne's celebrating her birthday today.
Oh, happy
So
birthday.
happy birthday. And to everyone who's at the DAP watching, have to say hello to Lucky. And my coworker Cheryl will choke me tomorrow if I don't say, hey, Yogi.
Hey, Yogi. Happy birthday. Cheryl, right? Happy birthday to Cheryl.
No, happy,
Happy
birthday,
birthday
to
to
Joanne.
To Joanne.
But
That's what I
Cheryl
meant to
will
say.
choke me if I
Oh,
don't
okay.
mention
All right.
Yogi.
All right, all right. Happy birthday, Joanne. And she celebrates her birthday with Max. Today is his birthday. He turned 15 today. I know.
Oh my
I
goodness,
think we have a
Trippy.
picture of him. I didn't even look, but I think we do have a picture of him. Hopefully.
Maxie,
Hopefully we do.
15.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we better
Get started.
yeah, move right along. We
All
want
right.
to welcome to the show our student of the week and her mother, who who was acting so shy, didn't want to come on TV with her. We actually had to trick her.
Trippy, why are you calling her out like
We
that?
had to lie to her and tell her that it was against the law.
No, you lied to
Okay,
her.
I did. She was not going to come on. She
At
was over there
all.
playing shy, like, I'm not coming. I said, look, it's against the law for your daughter to come on the show by herself. You're going to get us in trouble.
Because she underage.
She
She's
said,
like,
okay.
really?
She said, okay, no, I don't want to get y'all in trouble.
You terrible.
I had to. Welcome to the show, ladies. How are you?
Good.
You doing all right? You want to introduce yourself to everyone? Yes, you do. You can tell people your name, tell people how old you are, what school you go to, what grade you're in.
Okay.
What's your name?
Amani.
Amani. And what school do you go to, Amani?
Short-lived.
Shortledge. All right. Shortledge in the house. And what grade are you in?
Second.
Second grade. And who did you bring with you tonight?
My mom.
Your mom, reluctantly. What's going on, Mom? How are you?
She said nothing. She mad at you, Trippy. You gonna get him. She's like, you didn't tell me, Wayne, in the text message. I was like, okay.
Sorry. So, Imani, congratulations for everything that you've been doing. I heard you had perfect attendance at Shortledge.
Yes.
All right. So I picked you up last Wednesday. You and your little sister. What's her name again?
Mariah.
Mariah. How could I forget
Oh,
that name? I know, right?
yeah.
When she told me, I was like, oh, my daughter's name is Mariah. I don't know how I forgot her name. Well, we went to Jerry Dean's, had some breakfast. Actually, I dropped them off. I guess I dropped them off a little early, and her school really wanted to be supportive. Everyone at Shortledge really wanted to support her in her efforts, and they weren't there when I got there. So they had us come back later because they had, what's the Wildcat? What is it? It's the Wildcat, right? The
Yeah.
Shortledge Wildcat. They took all kinds of pictures. So Elwood went back and took the limousine later that afternoon and had.
I
yeah.
thought you didn't make it, so you sent
No, I did it
Elwood.
in the morning, but then we went back
Oh,
and had them
she got
take
a
all the
double
pictures.
dose.
Yeah, she got a double dose of the limousine ride. How'd you like the ride?
It was good.
It was good? All right. And tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you like doing? What kind of fun things do you like to do?
I like to go sometimes to the park,
Okay. What do you do at the park?
play.
Just play? All right. With your brothers and sisters?
Yes.
All right. What's their names?
Jaden, Mariah, and Jameer.
Okay. Are all of you guys nice to each other?
Yes, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Ooh, Mom.
Sometimes. Everybody listen to Mom?
No,
What about you? Do you listen to her all the time?
kinda.
Kinda. I like you, honestly. I like that. My Mom, I know you must be extremely proud of Amani.
Yes.
Come on, you gotta do better than that.
Yes. Let me see. Did you send me the text message? Did you inbox me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna read what she
All
said.
Please.
right. Just taking the
Shit,
easy
I'm a
way out.
Camera shot.
Just a little
Yeah.
bit. Okay, that's
Your
fine.
daughter certainly isn't shy
Mhm.
at
I wish you would have bought.
all.
You should have bought. I should have mentioned
Mariah.
that to you. You should have bought Mariah and your son too.
She was excited.
Was she? Okay. Is she home watching?
I hope so.
All right. You want to say hi to your little sister, Amani?
They're watching.
There goes your camera. There goes the camera right there. You can
Hi,
say.
Mariah,
And what about?
Miss Lisa.
Jaden, and Lear,
Okay.
and Miss Lisa.
All right. All right. And some people from Shoulders may be watching too. What's her name?
Miss Faison.
What's the lady's name?
Miss Faison.
She's kind of nice sometimes too.
Miss Faith.
Yeah, Miss
Miss
Faison.
Faison.
She's
She
all right.
says sometimes.
Sometimes Miss Faison is all right. Now, she's the one that really hooked everything up. She had the Wildcat come out, and she was really excited and happy for you, Amani. So, did you have the
Oh, I do. It just says, hello, Miss Wayna, wondering what I have to do for my awesome daughter to receive a limo ride for her awesome grades and perfect attendance.
All right.
She is 8 and attends Shortledge.
So you haven't missed a day of school, huh?
No.
That is great. So even when you've been sick, you still went. Have you been sick at all? A little bit, maybe.
Yes.
Not really. Were you? And you still went to school?
Yes.
How come?
Because I wanted to go on my field trip.
Oh, that's right. That's a good
That's
reason.
a good reason to want
That's
to go
right.
to
That's
school.
right. Can't miss the
Shoot.
field trips.
At At least she honest.
Uh-huh. I like that.
That's me too.
That's right.
But thank you guys.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for.
But first, I went to the nurse.
You did. You went to the nurse first, make sure everything was okay. Then you went on the field trip, right?
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, we do have a certificate for you that I'm going to get to you, but I forgot it. Since you've been honest, I'm going to be honest too. I forgot it at the office, but I'm going to make sure you get it before you leave. Okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to run around there and get it real quick before you leave.
Why don't you take it to her? Because you might run and
Yeah,
not come back.
No, I'm gonna go around and be right back. Okay? I'm gonna get it to you before you leave.
No, don't worry about it.
She said,
Miss
thank
Wayne,
you.
you can stay.
Oh my goodness. Maybe you shouldn't have been on the air with
Can I
us.
get off now?
No, you can't. No, you can't. You got to give some shout outs.
Oh, I do.
Yes, you do.
What is it?
Shout out to
Let's
my
say hi.
husband, my kids, my mom, my sisters,
We need
my
names.
brothers,
We need names.
everybody.
Everybody.
Me too.
And shout out to y'all too,
Okay.
for
all
dealing with me and
Said
my
too.
craziness.
We appreciate it. Well, keep up the great work, okay, Amani?
Yes.
Keep on being good in school and good at home, and encouraging your brothers and sisters to do the same. Okay?
Okay.
That's a deal.
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick. We have some pictures too. I don't know if Avin got them.
Did you put them up?
I did. I forgot to tell him. I forgot
You
to
didn't
tell
tell
him.
it?
I forgot to tell him. Avin, we do have some pictures. You have some pictures on your Facebook page, Avin. If you'll before the end of the show, if you'll be able to pull them down and put them up so we can show
It's a new year.
the fun day that Amani had last Wednesday. But we're gonna take a really quick break, and I'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Good evening and welcome back to the Congo Hour. If you're just tuning in, Trippy promises that he'll be right back. So we'll see what happens. Well, I'm always excited when I have these next two gentlemen come on the show. And I invited them just because, one, I work directly with both of them. And sometimes the media portrays people to be something that they're really not. So I appreciate LAPA Television to allow us to come on and always tell our side of the story that doesn't always get to be told. So on this evening, as I said earlier, we have County Executive Thomas P. Gordon and County Councilman Jay Street. So welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Nobody's ever accused me of being a gentleman.
Every time I call you that, you say, so what's the word I need to use for you?
Jay.
I'm not going there.
Just Jay.
Just Jay.
Just Jay. You can call me Jay. You remember that?
Or you could
Call
call
me
me Ray,
Ray.
or you could call me RJ, but you don't have to call me Johnson.
You do remember.
I remember distinctly.
All right, let's get serious now.
Why?
I know. So I want to talk about, I don't want to talk about, we're going to keep the show positive. We're going to talk about all the positive things that has happened, not only under this administration, but when you were county executive before. So I'm gonna start with you, Councilman Street.
Well, I think that the county exec's record, and I am serious now, I think it speaks for itself in terms of what he's done for the city, what he's done for people in need, and what he's done for my people in my district outside the city in the Route 9 corridor in the former Dealer School District. And here's the fact. His first 2 terms as county exec, he never raised taxes. Second term, 3 years in, he hasn't raised taxes. First term, when the city was in need, we didn't have a police contract, he gave the city $15 million so that the contract dispute could be resolved. Since he's been in office, every time there's been a situation where the county police were needed in the city of Wilmington to help, he's made that help readily available. His first 2 terms as county executive, there were no county police shootings. His first 3 years, there have been no county police shootings. I wasn't in office a New York minute. He had his proposal, $1 million fire truck for the city of Wilmington, which is the high ladder truck for to be able to fight fires in the high rises. My first council meeting, a former councilman says he's making a motion to table because he was concerned that there was not the proper communication between city fire and county fire departments. And I said, what y'all think, because I'm new? I don't understand what's going on.
Oh, that was your first
My
time out the
meeting.
gate.
First time out of the block. I said, what y'all think, because I'm new, I'm gonna let you get away with this? And all of a sudden, council meeting stopped. We had a little recess. We had a little conversation. And so when you see that high-rise ladder now, that ladder truck, Tom Gordon put it there. And folks, you know, one of the things that was said, in referring to me, we gave him the fire truck. What else does he want? Well, first of all, you didn't give it to me. It was Tom Gordon's idea. It was Tom Gordon's idea. Second, for 8 years, I screamed and hollered. It was fundamentally unfair. It was just wrong that there was no library in the Route 9 corridor. Finally, $6 million was put in the capital budget. Well, realistically, what can you build for $6 million? He comes along and I said, I don't really care about anything else. I want my library. And he's taking it to a whole nother level. It's an innovation center. It's going to be one of the finest libraries in the country, just like he promised. And so to me, his record of accomplishment speaks for itself. If you look at his cabinet right now, it's the most diverse cabinet in the history of county government. And when you make the comparison to his cabinet and the diversity with other governments, he's doing an outstanding, phenomenal job.
Councilman
when you
Street.
look at police promotions.
Wait a minute, I want to stop right there for a minute because today the Interdenominational Minister Action Council talked about equality in government offices. And so I'm there, I know. So I just want to let everybody know, you're not just talking, a lot of our senior management are diverse. And he's doing a really good job with diversifying other departments as well. So I just had to put that part in there.
But let me carry it a step further, because one of the most contentious issues you have in police departments across the country are promotion practices and policies. He, during his tenure as county executive, he has promoted more African Americans, more minorities than before in our history. I spent 8 years, a great deal of public controversy about the clear absence of African American paramedics. He hired Joe Bryant. Joe Bryant has been working diligently and aggressively with our paramedic chiefs, and we've had the most recently we had the most diverse class of paramedics in the county's history. So to me, his record speaks for itself, and it's crystal clear. I'm not plucking this out of the air, and I'm speaking from what I know to be factually correct. And, he may catch heck for this. And Herman Jr., as I have said publicly, came to me and said that Tom Gordon was looking for somebody to run for council in District 10 and hoping that the person would be a minority. I looked at it, half the city, the predominance of the former Delaware School District. I said, this got my name written all over it. But he masterfully gave me his suggestions as to strategies and methodologies to go about getting elected, and I have to respectfully say, not for the Congo family and not for Tom Gordon, I'm not so sure I would have gotten elected in the first place. So we don't agree on everything. We have learned to disagree without being disagreeable, and I think that in this arena, in this climate, that's healthy. The other is, he has been one of the leading proponents to expand the port. He's put money forward to get the environmental study done to expand the port, and if that comes to fruition, the jobs that are created as a result of that are the direct result of the work that he's doing. And most recently, he's taken the leadership on trying to bring the stock exchange to the city of Wilmington, and he calls me repeatedly anytime there's a problem in the city. And when it was crystal clear that DuPont was going to make the move that it made, one of the things that he looked to try to replace that was the stock exchange. Here, we didn't agree. I'm a former parks director. No, you're not. I don't think you should use park trust money or money that was endowed to, was given to the county specifically to fix parks. I don't think you should use it that way. Well, some of us raised hell about it. So he puts it back, and folks are raising hell about that. So, as I said on council floor, he's darned if he do, only I didn't say that.
Right.
He's darned if he does and darned if he doesn't. But the purpose and intention has been to help the city, to help bring about systemic change and bring about fundamental fairness and equity. And I'm going to continue to work with him, and I'm looking forward, because he won't say what he's going to run for next, but I'm really hoping that he'll come forward and run for one more term as county executive, and I'm with him all the way.
All right. So
because of what he's done.
We talking about him as if he's not even here. So.
Well, you keep it up.
Because he won't, and sometimes I think even he forgets all that he does and all that he is doing. And then, I have no more sense than to say, look, as soon as y'all get the steel in the air for the library, I'm going to start bothering y'all about a senior high-rise out in the Route 9 corridor, because there are no senior services there. And he hasn't said yes, but he hasn't said no.
Okay. So, sir, if you don't mind, just talk about some of the things that you're looking forward to doing in 2016.
Well, let me thank our council member here, because coming from him, it's the truth, because he does not mince his words.
At all.
And sometimes I've been on the other end of that. But he's been a great colleague to work with, and he represents his community like nobody. And, I realized I was born and raised in the city. I realized how important the city is. And if somebody else has another idea other than the stock market and the Port of Wilmington, which I don't go anywhere without talking about the great longshoremen, Congo Harris and the gang, that have taught me. Read a magazine last week at Philadelphia is talking about the great expansion that they have and all the jobs that are coming there. And we have a better location, and no one will pass this port. Now, you put 30,000 jobs into that port, you solve the city of Wilmington's crime. Stock market is going to be there.
Let's talk about those two issues.
Okay.
The stock market and the port. Let's just assume that someone is out there watching and they have no idea what we're talking about when we're talking about the port and what could happen down there.
The Port of Wilmington right now is a container port. Not a container port, it's a bulk port. They're going to be out of business in a year and a half if you don't modernize it. Everybody's going to what is a container. Container will be a big grate that comes off a ship. They're no longer going to reach in the belly and pull up a pallet. So the president came down and gave a speech. He's looking for partners. We found a partner. It's contiguous to the Port of Wilmington, and it's part of the state port, not a county. What that allows you to do is all the ships are passing us right now, and they're all going to Philly. The traffic's up 300 to 400%. And if we do a modern port, no one will pass Wilmington. It's just ideally located. What that means is a whole lot more longshoremen and a whole lot more indirect jobs. We're talking, really thousands, maybe 30,000. No exaggeration, within a year and a half. Now the stock market's there.
30,000 jobs at the port? Or?
Direct and indirect at the port.
Okay.
That's without talking about the farm opportunity to ship farm stuff out of there. We didn't even, there's a tremendous effort by way of the Washington Farm Bureau to use this port to ship out products because they got to get onto Mississippi.
What's the pay range for those?
Well, the longshoremen that work, they make some 120,000. Now, keep in mind, that's a hard job, and there's a whole line of people willing to take your job.
Right.
So they work hard, and they deserve it. $20, I'm told, an hour for kids down there during the summer. Lots of jobs. So you do that. I'm told by my friends there that there's a line that goes up and around the corner, and by the afternoon, some of them are selling drugs. Not that they don't. Think about what jobs are available in the city right now for a livable wage. You have 1,700 empty homes. Foreclosure rate going out of business. You lost the 2 automobile plants, steel plant, Avon, DuPont is now leaving. What is there if you live in the city? All the businesses are going to Middletown and it's going to Newark. No one is trying to bring anything in the city. Now, the stock market will keep the rich and famous from leaving. I say it's going to keep the lawyers. It's going to create business.
I don't mean to cut you off, but just before we go to the stock market, so where are we with the port and getting that, making that happen?
We and the mayor and the county came together with the support. This gentleman, it's his district, and he's driving the train. Him and Charles Potter have said that. Look, the holdup has been the environmental piece. It cost about $400,000 or $500,000. So the county and the city started up with $300 million, and it's starting. So they're going to start 300,000. They're going to start the study, and we're going to bring the investors in. I say the longshoremen are going to bring the investors in, and you will see that the state will have to pay no money because it is the perfect location in the country, backed up by about 20 marine engineers because of the Suez Canal and the Panama Canal widening and the striking on the West Coast. It's up 300%. Everybody's being quiet because they don't want us to go up. They want Philadelphia to benefit. But you go to Philly, it takes a day more. You have to have tugboats. We don't have a bridge on this side of the river where we're talking about. And now just imagine there's 1,500 longshoremen that work there now. Imagine double or tripling that. You're going to start cutting in. The numbers in Wilmington are small. There's only 72,000 people. You start adding that many to the numbers, and the crime will drop. Because the crime in the city, as I said, 1 million isn't bad people. It isn't bad government. It's lack of opportunity. There is nothing. And
so after that study, what needs to happen?
Well, what needs to happen is we need to get the investors, and they're going to bring them in late January and February to show that there's real money. Stock market, Wall Street, or 3 or 4 different Chinese groups want to buy it. We've got to put together a combination, and the governor will take the lead on it, I hope. And Charles Potter is working very hard to make sure the state stays a part of it. It has to be a state port. And
so what has to happen on the state level? Like when you say it has to
well,
be a
the state
port,
is supposed to come up with another 200,000 to finish this environmental. The environmental is important to show the investors that we're serious. Nobody's going to try to stop it on the environmental.
And there's nothing environmentally unsafe about expanding and doing the dredging that has to be done to make sure that the area that is being proposed to expand in is, and to make sure that's not going to be any hazard to the environment, and we can get started with it.
Trippy, I want to say this too, that every time the county exec says something's going to happen, it's like you could bet your life on it that it's going to happen. Just recently we went to a Democratic meeting, and I was the guest speaker, and one of the people there asked a question about the stock exchange, and he said by tomorrow it'll be going down. we get to work and it was down. Me and
It's
Angie and
gonna
everybody.
That's
Gone
because
now.
you all sold your stock. That's what happened.
But yeah, so him predicting like the jobs and forecasting things, I truly believe that those things will come
we're
to
investing
pass.
in the county too, with all the county parks are
Yes.
beautiful again. Bear Glasgow, 140,000 people are using it. Carousel is up and running beautifully now.
Where's the
Rockwood-
fishing pond at?
The fishing ponds in both Carousel and Bear Glasgow. And now they're both parks for the city. And that's the hard thing to get the people to know. You drive 4 miles, you go to Carousel. We've opened that up. It's very diversified now. But the point is, nobody's investing in the city. And you see what's happening. But we've got to turn the page. This could really be a whole new frontier. When you talk about the stock market, the guy that's running it, Wallace, bought and sold Philadelphia. In Philly, he brought $450 million to the local economy. Now you bring anywhere near that to it. We're not talking about gentrification. We're talking about getting the people involved, restaurants, laundromats, other things that you do to support the stock market in addition to 100 jobs. Or
So
100%.
again, just take us through the stock market. Just act like we don't know anything about what's going on with the stock market.
They've signed a contract.
All right.
It's going to open in 2 weeks. It's going to be a big ribbon cutting. We're going to invite you and everybody from the city to be there since you were a part of it. And what it'll do, it creates jobs for lawyers, it creates jobs for traders, it creates jobs for MSNBC, the technical people that are going to, it's a real stock exchange. But they're going to corner a market that no one's cornered yet. It's the mid caps. Right now, you got to go to Wall Street. A lot of people can't make it there. But more importantly, you can get up to $50 million in venture capital. So you have a new idea. Right now, you got to go to Silicon Valley. Well, here you got a new laptop. You can come here. You can market it and maybe get the funding. And then it'll be a second part. We try to get them to build here. So it's exciting at a time where, everybody wants to fight me on it, but do you know anybody else got anything that's going on in the city? I mean, we just supposed to walk away?
How come they're fighting? Like, what are they
I
saying?
don't even want to get into that. I just can't understand why. I knew that I felt the DuPont company was going to leave a long time ago. And I hope the governor's fighting very hard to try to keep something here. And we've been texting all weekend. He's trying very hard to get the Dow and the chairman of DuPont to keep something here. And then we still have the Comores issue where we're trying to get Comores to stay here. We want to keep that DuPont. But right in Rodney Square is going to be, on Rodney Square is going to be the stock market. And if we all got involved in a whole new industry that's supposed to be bigger than the Banking Act, that's what the pro forma shows. So if we have this, and it does attract foreign nations and people that are investments and crowdfunding and all this other stuff that I hardly understand, it's going to transition Wilmington back. The lawyers are going to be needed, corporation service companies are going to be needed, Merrill Lynch is going to be needed. So goes mergers and acquisitions overseas. Gambling's no more. We've got to all get behind this and say, this is the middle and upper. The port, I assure you, will employ a whole lot of good people that are unemployed right now. You talk those kind of numbers, with a small city like 72,000, it can go from last to fifth in 5 years. I show you the numbers. It's just
Give us a time frame for each, like for the port and then for the stock.
the port. We could have been
Like
done.
an
by
ideal
now.
one. An ideal
When we
one.
started talking 3 years ago, and that guy in Sweeney, who I'm going to meet with soon, is the president of Jersey Senate. He's built 2 and about to build a 3rd. We could get it in a year and a half. But
Okay.
immediately, $600 million go into the economy to construct it. And that's a lot of union jobs, and a lot of people in the city and the county will be employed. But a ship coming in could be a year and a half. But the day you announce you're starting,
Right.
you'll be filled with shippers.
Okay.
Because if you just think about it logically, we're God-given $4.95 at the entrance to the port. New York, it takes a day to get to 95. In South Carolina, the other competitor, 10 hours to get into the port. You'll be in and out of here in 45 minutes. If we add GM to it, it opens up a whole new array of opportunities for somebody to rail it out to GM. Cars are coming in, Kia. All these cars are coming into Philly. They're planting them everywhere. We have an auto berth and we have GM.
Right.
If we put this in play and everybody got behind us, we could turn the city of Wilmington around in 2 to 3 years.
But
And
not only the city, it's going to have an extraordinary positive impact on the county. It's going to have an extraordinary positive impact on the state. So it's, you know, it's a holistic resolution that's going to help tremendously to help the economy at all government levels. And I think that, you know, again, you and the folks that you've been working with need to be commended for the vision. And for having the guts to step forward and say, no, what we're doing, the status quo is not going to be something that's sustainable. We have to do something above and beyond and different. And you've had the courage to step out both with the port and with the stock exchange and with my library, and thank you very much.
Which became an innovation center.
That's right, my library and innovation center.
let me just say that, you know, when I say the city, out of Camorra, 600 people, 450 of them live in the county.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. You're trying to help out the city, you get killed. You can't have a city without you can't have a county without a city.
Right.
You can't have a state without the city. And it is so connected that when I say city, I'm not just talking about the city residents.
Right.
They get the wage tax. Most of these people live in the county. If DuPont leaves, you know, there's 150,000 DuPont employees, and most of them live in the state. You know, we're trying to get them to talk about the legacy costs. Who's going to pay for the pension? And it's not a good time. But someone has to be thinking about, let's think about what we could do with our great location. And the stock market's here because it's a great location. All the lawyers are already here. You're close to New York, Baltimore, Philadelphia. You got the train. So in terms of stock market, it's a nanosecond. So you're not losing anything. People will use this stock market, and people will use this port. But we got to stop fighting, and we've got to say, you're not going to solve crime in the city. I can predict, if the poverty stays the way it is, next year's going to have worse crimes than this year. This year's worse than last.
Right.
Yeah.
And the 3 years from now is going to be a record. If you don't recognize the people that are out of work, the unemployment, probably the median income is around 20,000. And these are just facts. 1,750,000 empty homes right now in the city. Good people are leaving the city, the last wave.
Yeah.
And you can't replace the corporate capital of the world. It's not going to Middletown. It's not going to Newark. It's leaving the state.
So give me what can people I want you to tell us what can people in government do to help make both of these things happen, and what can people just regular everyday constituents
Regular every day and all over the county, because again, the port people come from Sussex County, come from Dover. It's not just Wilmington.
Right.
Somehow if you just focus on Wilmington, people don't care. These kind of jobs, in the city of Wilmington right now, there's 15,000 people that work at the port. And most of them don't live in the city. So you double that number and say 30,000 that work at this port. The President of the United States wants it. He's going to make it happen quickly. He's going to do the dredging for 50 years. It don't get better than that, because it's the best port in the country. It's the best port because of location, location, location. And what they can do is get behind this issue, and that we're going to go public with it. And you're going to be all invited to a stock market opening in 2 weeks.
But isn't the answer to Councilman Congo's question, folks need to, number one, stay involved, pay attention to what's going on. Number two, let your legislators, let your council people, both at the city and county level, know that you support this because of the importance to everybody, to the importance of the overall economy. And unless you have a better idea, which and I don't think he's closed mind, nobody's closed mind, but those are the two things that are on the table, and all of which can come to fruition within the next 2 years. The stock exchange is going to open. It's supposed to be profitable within a 3-year time frame, and it's going to create jobs. And okay, if this is not the way you want to create jobs, then give us an alternative. But in the absence of a viable alternative, I think we should go full speed ahead with these two particular agenda items.
There was a gentleman at a informative port meeting that I attended, and I mean, of course, you were there. and I don't remember what he specialized in. I think it was the port or dredging or whatever. And he got up, he was like, I really don't see, he's like, I'm boggled why you all haven't done this, like why we're going back and forth. He was like, it's
That was
clear.
I don't mean to cut you off, but what's that phrase? The ball stops.
Ball stops here. The
The
buck
buck.
stops here.
Like who does the ball or the buck stop with? Like who can people call and say, look, we need this to happen? Like, is there a particular person, or is there like a section of government? Like who can people? Who can we hold?
In
who
order
can-
for
who can we
for
hold
this to
responsible?
happen, all levels of government need to actively participate. So you need to call everybody.
Well, where does it
But
stop?
It's going.
Who makes the call, or what group of government makes the call for these things to happen or
I
not?
don't think you ever see anybody stop it. You see them slowing it down.
But who's that? So we can.
Well,
so we can
the
address
guy
that.
that has picked up the mantle is Charles Potter on the state level. He's picked it up and said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna run with this. And that's been a big help. The driving force that have paid for it is the longshoremen. The president and Kamoko Harris is the local agent.
President Ash.
And President Ash is he's the vice president of the national. And if they're not in my office every other day for 3.5 years, I'm lying. And we run into one hurdle after another. But what people have to realize, as I tell the mayor all the time, you got to stop saying you can police your way out of this, because
Right.
poverty tracks crime.
All right.
Right.
It's a fact. If he could do any, you can arrest the last 20% that don't have a record, and that is what you're going to be forced to do. Or you can say, I didn't create this mess,
Exactly.
and know the numbers like I know them. The poverty, the medium income, the salaries of people in the city and the county. The entire country is losing their middle class, but more so Delaware, because of the 2 automobile plants, because of the loss of all the manufacturing. That's why I don't worry about this latest Pacific Trade Agreement. There's nothing left to take. And you can't come pick up buildings. So we've got to turn the page and create jobs, and the stock market is real. And the jobs that, the restaurants and the laundromats and the things that go along with that. And the port brings real salaries to real people in the city and the county. And we're going to continue to work on it. We're going to get it done. We've got to get it done very quickly.
All right.
But the other is, in terms of where we are as a government, in an effort to see to it that we reduce the likelihood of the crime going out in the county and creating the kind of havoc that it has for us in the city, the authorized strength of the Newcastle County Police Department is higher than it's ever been. And that's attributable to this county executive's leadership, and attributable to the police chief making the kind of presentation and making us as a council understand the need and significance of that. Separate and apart from that, I've been a student advocate for 41 years. So when I said to the county executive, the city is going to put some money up, I would like for you to consider putting some money up so we can get an expert to look at establishing a formula to establish the way to fund the formula for high poverty schools. He never blinked his eye. He put the money on the table. And I've got to stay focused on my mission this year and next year, because I have a determination that there are 3 things that I want to see happen in the school system before I leave the arena, and that's a weighted funding formula for high poverty schools, that's a reduction in the number of districts within the city of Wilmington, and seeing to it that the city as a city no longer is the only city in the country where the city has no authority and no responsibility over the educational destiny of its own children. The city needs to play a role. So those 3 things are heavy on my agenda. I want to see those come to fruition. And, I said, in order to improve community relations, police community relationships, if, since council, and there was some controversy about fire grants that he had been given to the city of Wilmington, he said, well, I'm not going to put it on this year. I said, fine. I'm not going to put it in the budget this year. Would you consider establishing a team of intervention specialists to improve community relationships, police community relationships? He didn't blink an eye. He said yes. So that's why Muhammad Salam, Rashid Mustafa, and 4 other people are now well established. They're 2 months up and running, intervention specialists, and you're going to see them. They're visible in the community, and it's to improve police-community relationships and to help reduce crime. So, you know, I don't know what else folks expect for him to do, but I know I'm very pleased and proud to work with him, and very happy with what he has been willing to work with and help me do. Separate and apart from that, this summer, I said, can we expand the lunch program and work with the city? He immediately gave the nod to go ahead. So we served, the city of Wilmington came out in the county and served 8,000 meals to kids in my council district outside the city. And again, that doesn't happen if he doesn't agree to it. And plus we got some brand spanking new playgrounds, equipment refurbished. And you know, if you look at the things, because he doesn't like to brag about it, but look at, in spite of addressing issues and trying to be innovative, look at the things that he keeps doing to make sure that people have fun in their leisure time. And I think you should talk about that.
People can't afford to go on vacation, so that's why we say all the county parks are for the city residents, for the county residents, and they're beautiful parks, and there are a lot of free things to do there, and we're going to continue that.
Free things like
horse riding. We got a petting zoo in Carousel, and Bear Glasgow is just like something out of Norman Rockwell. We're doing a farmer's market there. We got a fishing pond. We've got pavilions. It's well used.
So I was trying to get him to talk about Sleeping Under the Stars. I was
Sleeping
trying to
Under
get him
the
to talk
Stars.
about the ice cream festival.
We make it
But see, he forgets about the things that he
Because
does.
it's so much, so he can't
We
remember.
make it exciting. You know, it's important when you bring in corporations, and we're going to try to bring them back. You know, the schools are not getting a good rating. That's a scary thing. And when they want to look at what kind of things for their employees, we say, well, you got a lot of great things in Delaware, you know, and especially the county parks and the county libraries. And this innovation center is going to show that whole thing that Jay's been talking about. Kids are smart, and this is going to be an opportunity to show science, math, and technology can be made excited, and these kids are going to find that this innovation center, all of a sudden they know coding and they didn't know they were learning it. And it's going to be the first in the country, and I guarantee you.
With a special sensory room for children with autism.
Yes.
And I think that's so special, and I think that you're going to see children from all walks of life surround those children, and I'm just excited about the potential of it, and I am so certain that library is not only going to be used by the residents, the Route 9, Route 13 corridors, but I think it's going to be a facility that's going to be subjected to countywide use, because I think people from all walks of life and the entire county will want to come in and see the fun, and see the ability to the different learning concepts and programs that the staff is working hard to put in place. I'm just excited about it.
First in the country, and he goes there every morning and sends me pictures on how the progress is going. And he's a marvelous man to work with, and he's really...
Let's see what he calls me in the morning, but tonight I'm all right.
I call him names.
I know.
But you know, I tell him I love him at
Y'all
the end of
call
the
each other
conversation,
names.
but you can't, if he won't agree on everything, I understand that. I learned from him. You know, he has the pulse of the community.
Well, we definitely going to have you back to talk
What
about.
happened to Mr. Congo? I thought he was
He
killed.
has to go prepare for
No,
the.
the senior.
Oh, I have no clue
I
what
mean,
happened.
You leave Mr. Congo alone.
Wait, this used to be called The Tommy Show.
right.
And I don't want it to be called The Tommy Show again. I want him to be here.
I'm not sure what happened. I thought he was
Is he
coming.
mad at me or something?
He has no reason
Again?
to be mad at you.
I don't know what I did.
We'll find out after the show. All right. So thank you both for
Thank you.
coming on. And I'm going to take.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
It's a real
It's
honor.
important that
Yes, it is.
the community knows what's going on. So that's why we have you here. I'm going to take a quick break, and hopefully Trippy will be ready for our funeral announcements and our birthdays. I'll probably won't be here, so I pray that this week is the best week of your life. And don't turn the channel. Trippy will be right back.